Here's a rewritten version that keeps the same storyline but changes the wording and makes it more engaging. Imagine separating from one of the biggest families in the music industry and suddenly realizing that all those silent expectations no longer apply to you or your daughter. No more pressure to protect the image, no more obligation to only speak positively, and no more staying quiet to keep the peace. Once those family ties are gone, the entire dynamic changes. Questions start getting asked, old experiences begin looking different, and people naturally wonder what was really happening behind the scenes all along. When someone who once lived close to that level of influence no longer feels bound by the same rules, things can get very interesting very quickly. According to online speculation, this is supposedly the position Bianca Lawson found herself in after her father, Richard Lawson, and Tina Knowles ended their marriage. Social media chatter has been suggesting that Bianca may no longer feel tied to protecting the image around one of entertainment's most powerful circles, and could be subtly revealing what life close to that level of fame was really like. And if the rumors are to be believed, people think the reality behind the scenes was far more complicated than the polished public image. There have been ongoing claims about intense pressure, strict expectations, and unwritten rules for anyone connected to Beyoncé's world, with speculation that Bianca experienced just how demanding that environment could allegedly be. But before anyone writes her off as someone chasing attention, Bianca already had her own established name long before becoming connected to that family. She comes from entertainment legacy through her maternal side's connection to Berry Gordy and the Motown world, and she has spent decades building a respected acting career of her own. Viewers may recognize her from roles in Pretty Little Liars, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and more recently Queen Sugar, and fans constantly joke that she somehow looks exactly the same year after year. When Richard married Tina in 2015, people loved the idea because it officially linked Bianca and Beyoncé as stepsisters, creating what looked from the outside like a picture-perfect blended family. Public appearances only added to that image. But rumors later began circulating that things behind closed doors may have been more controlled than they appeared. Some reports even claimed there were expectations and boundaries for anyone entering the family circle. Stories from unnamed sources suggested that maintaining privacy and protecting relationships became a major priority, especially after public scrutiny around past controversies. The conversation eventually expanded into claims that people close to the family were expected to keep personal matters private through strong confidentiality agreements and carefully manage public appearances, creating the impression that access to that world came with rules few outsiders ever got to see. According to the ongoing rumors, privacy around this circle isn't treated like a suggestion, it's treated like policy. The talk online claims that if you're anywhere near the family, there are expectations about what stays private and what never leaves the room. Allegedly, sharing private moments, speaking publicly about personal conversations, posting unreleased photos, or commenting on family issues is considered completely off-limits. People even pointed to Richard Lawson and Tina Knowles' divorce agreement, where reports mentioned a non-disparagement clause designed to prevent negative public comments and protect family privacy, including restrictions around discussing children and future generations publicly. Then fans started connecting this to old celebrity stories, including the moment Tiffany Haddish went viral after talking about the famous party incident involving Beyoncé and later mentioning confidentiality agreements. Social media users even reference Beyoncé's own lyric in DJ Khaled's Top Off as proof of the reputation these rules have built over time, with people joking that getting invited into that world supposedly means signing paperwork before stepping inside. The internet narrative paints a picture of a highly controlled environment. No phones, no random interviews, and no loose talk with the media. And now, according to speculation, some believe Bianca and Richard may no longer feel the same pressure to stay silent and may see no reason to protect what allegedly happened behind closed doors. Another rumor that gained attention claimed there was an unspoken expectation that nobody should pull focus from the center of attention. Reports suggested success was welcomed, as long as it never became bigger than the spotlight itself. In Bianca's case, online discussions claimed she allegedly felt pressure not to overshadow Beyoncé, something insiders described as frustrating for someone who had already built a respected acting career long before becoming connected to the family. Supporters argued that imagining an established actress having to constantly stay invisible to avoid creating headlines sounds exhausting. Fans then brought up older industry stories, including comments from former Destiny's Child member Farrah Franklin, who spoke publicly years ago about styling choices and image decisions made during that era. Those old interviews resurfaced and fueled even more speculation about appearance standards, with people debating whether maintaining a certain visual hierarchy was part of the culture behind the scenes. According to old interviews and ongoing online discussion, some former members described being styled very differently from how they naturally looked during certain eras. One past interview that resurfaced featured comments about hair changes, tanning, and image choices that allegedly made certain members appear less visually dominant in comparison. The conversation fueled speculation that maintaining a particular group aesthetic may have involved intentional appearance decisions behind the scenes. Some fans later connected those stories to broader rumors that image control extended beyond the group itself. Additional claims circulated online, suggesting that family members and close associates were expected to avoid competing for public attention, especially during major moments tied to the Carter brand. Allegedly, when a major project or rollout was happening, people close to the circle were expected to keep their own announcements quiet, meaning no huge movie releases, no headline-making interviews, and no major business reveals at the same time. If those reports were true, supporters argue that someone like Beyoncé Lawson, who had already built a respected career long before joining the extended family dynamic, may have found those expectations restrictive. Imagine working for decades only to feel like your next move has to be approved by an invisible calendar. Rumors even suggested that after Richard Lawson and Tina Knowles separated, certain connections and opportunities became noticeably more distant, leading some observers to believe the Lawson side no longer felt obligated to protect the family image. People online have also speculated that Beyoncé may no longer see value in staying silent about experiences she allegedly had while connected to that world. At the same time, reports and gossip pages claimed Richard had privately suggested that life inside the household was much more structured and demanding than people realized publicly, with some framing it as a carefully maintained image covering deeper tensions. Then came another theory making rounds online, that Tina's relationship with Richard was never viewed by critics as entirely equal, with some people interpreting old interviews and public moments as signs that she never fully embraced him the way outsiders expected. That led to assumptions from commenters that the marriage may have served a different purpose, and eventually ended once that chapter was over. Fans also pushed another controversial theory into the conversation, that Beyoncé's established reputation, long career, and naturally low-key presence may have created comparisons people weren't expecting. Having worked steadily since the 1990s, coming from respected entertainment roots, and maintaining a strong public image for decades, Beyoncé became someone viewers felt naturally stood out without trying. From there, internet speculation turned into claims that this may not have sat comfortably inside an environment where being the center of attention matters deeply. Whether any of that reflects reality is another question entirely, but one thing people continue debating is whether strict privacy rules and expectations really existed at that level, and if so, whether Beyoncé ever should have been expected to follow them in the first place.